The yellow card controversy, which some countries, including South Africa, request as a procedure before you get into the country. That's what we're focusing on this morning. And then we're joined on the line from Abuja by Ambassador Martin Tumuhiobio, who... Okay, actually it's Abike Dabiri, Representative Abike Dabiri, who is the Chairman House Committee on Diaspora. Thank you for joining us on Abuja this morning.
Good morning, Chairman.
Well, an unfortunate scenario. Nigerians in diaspora, this one's on their way to South Africa, faces hurdle where they had to return back to Nigeria. And this matter has been popping up every now and then. Remember, there was a major incident in 2001 with the then Minister of Aviation, and now you've got this one, even though they say some Nigerians have been complaining way before now. Isn't it about time? What do you think of this scenario again?
Well, like you said, it's actually there is not new. It's just that this is the first time you're having this large number of Nigerians being deported. We have had quite a number of complaints from Nigerians in diaspora in South Africa about hostility towards Nigerians there. And I think the yellow card issue
is just an excuse to continue those hostilities. Like somebody said on the program, maybe they are telling you we don't want you here. If you do not have a yellow card, I've been to South Africa some years back. There was no yellow card. There's a room there where they vaccinate you and tell you to pay as much as $100. Apart from the fact that it's an old room, it's an unnecessary room, we could as well tell them to come to Nigeria with their HIV certification. So I think it's just an excuse to continue this unwarranted hostilities towards Nigerians. So I think it's unfortunate, and I believe that at this point in time, Nigeria must stand up and fight for her people.
But our country claims to have an excellent relationship with the government of South Africa. How is it possible that we have an excellent relationship with the government of South Africa and still it seems that Nigerians are being targeted in that country?
Well, sometimes there could be a disconnect between what you call an excellent relationship and to what is actually on ground. There's actually a prison in South Africa that is dedicated to Nigerians. We intend to go to that prison in another 2-3 months. And don't forget that this same South Africa, some time ago, was charging deportation fees of 100,000 naira from Nigerians. So you pay 100,000 naira in case you'll be deported from South Africa. It took the former ambassador to South Africa, General Mohammed Buba Marwa, to now also tell South Africans to pay the same amount in South African rands if you're coming to Nigeria. And then that stopped. Listen, if we tell them to also follow some measures, and they don't, or we even just tell them to follow some stringent measures which they know is unnecessary, I'm telling you they should sit up. I believe that excellent or no excellent, there must be what you call reciprocity, which is allowed in diplomatic circles. Look, if they say do this, you also tell them to do the same thing, and then they will sit up. I think that is just a diplomatic statement. Nigerians are going through hell in South Africa. You can ask yourself, if you're going through that much hell, what are you doing there? That's another question, really. We need to fix our country, because really it's becoming really embarrassing. And the petitions, the various petitions we get is alarming, and it's very worrisome.
Yeah,
and in particular from South Africa, a country that we did so much for in the era of apartheid. It looks like, there's a lot of them have forgotten history. Even school children had to be taxed to help them in the era of apartheid. Do you know what Nigerians went through that day? They were there for about 24 hours. Our women were there. Our children were there. No food, no water for 24 hours. You said because they didn't have a yellow card? Oh, come on. They have a desk there. There's a little place there where you can actually say, pay some money, you get this yellow card. If indeed that is the reason. And then why will 120-something people commit the same offense? They said some are fake. Even those who had, they said, no, it's fake. So really, we should stop deceiving ourselves and really hit the nail on the head. There's something wrong somewhere. And we need to look at it and get on top of it.
Well, we've had there are lots of complaints. I mean, one of those was the one you said about your visa application where you paid your 100,000 naira, but now that has stopped. But there's still lots of complaints coming through from Nigerians there. Isn't it because we're not doing enough, putting our foot down as a country? And that's why other countries, because we understand, even some West African countries are beginning to demand the same thing. Is it about time that we stop pretending, big brother or not, you put your foot down? It's about economics. There's a huge market here. If we don't put our foot down, this is what we get.
I agree with you. I agree with you absolutely. Look, you've got how South African businesses here. What MTN makes from Nigeria alone, what they make from the whole of Africa is not up to what they make in Nigeria alone. Look at DSTV. DSTV is enjoying being in Nigeria. So, until we stand up and fight for our rights, until we stand up and say, no, enough is enough, we continue to be treated this way. And that is one of the major problems that we have seen. Where we have intervened and said, no, this shouldn't happen, we've seen results. So, you see, one thing, I heard somebody say in your program very early this morning that, Nigerians are criminals. When you accept such labels, there's a problem with that. We must learn to have confidence in ourselves as Nigerians. We are not, you see, we could be in your face sometimes. You have the kind of your face kind of attitude. But most of the time it's like the Nigerian really is an amazing person, no matter what a few people will do to mess that up. But one bad apple cannot spoil the whole bunch. That is the reality. Until Nigeria, look, one person alone who justice for one is justice for all. Until Nigeria stands up and says, no way, this will not happen to our citizens, we're going to continue to get this. This is just one of the several that we receive in the Committee on Diaspora. And I'm not saying that if you commit a crime, you should not get punished for it. If you commit a crime, get punished for it. But don't say because Chamberlain committed a crime, Abike Dabiri will be punished for it. You can't generalize that way. And because nothing happens, they are Nigerians anyway, nothing happens, it's going to continue. So it's about time. I'm told that the minister will be meeting with his counterpart or with the South African embassy. These are issues that should be tabled. And I insist on the law of reciprocity. Like I said, the 100,000 naira thing, it stopped because they couldn't even afford to pay that kind of money anyway. So when we look at, our losses and gains, really, we must stand up and say, no, enough is enough. Enough just has to be enough.
Also about us looking inwards. Because if earlier this morning, as you rightly pointed out, a guest said, that this is about us not being able to follow due process as a country, as a people, that we're not used to it. So if a country demands that we bring yellow cards into their country and make it genuine, how hard can that be?
I disagree. It's not about follow. And like I said, South Africa has a desk there. If you don't have a yellow card and they insist on it, they charge you $100 for something that won't cost you even 2,000 naira or whatever. It doesn't even cost you anything to get a yellow card. Just go and get vaccinated. But there, they charge you almost about $100. So if they are sincere about that, but then you get there, they tell you that it is fake. They told some of these passengers that what they have is fake. How can you determine at that point that it is fake? And if it is that important, let it be part of the procedure where you're getting your visa. So it's not about not following due process. That I'm telling you, don't let's deceive ourselves. There's hostility towards Nigeria from South Africa. And for South Africa in particular, this should not be acceptable to us. It's not about following due process or not following due process. I've spoken to some of those passengers on that flight. They had their yellow cards and they said it was fake. So how can everybody on that flight was turned back? It is not right. So do not let us pretend that it is right. It is not right and it is unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. You
believe that this yellow card issue, controversy, goes beyond just the yellow card paper, but it's actually a representation of many other hostilities that Nigerians have had to go through in that particular country. Why would you believe that Nigerians are being targeted in South Africa?
I believe so because, first and foremost, like I told you, we have been informed of a particular prison in South Africa that is dedicated to Nigerians. Okay.
Yeah, I think she's going to come through. Okay, well, yes, she was just talking about a specific prison that was dedicated to Nigerians. Gosh, What else? What kind of humiliating treatment? I mean, South Africa, there was a report that was published some time ago. They describe it as, they've got a high rate of HIV prevalence. So, but Nigeria does not demand that you must get a HIV-free certificate to come into Nigeria. And so, of course, these matters can get sentimental. So you have a lot of people who are bringing up such issues and asking, is it about time we put our foot down and find out? Well, she's back now.
Yeah, we're just asking, Honorable, if you're still there, if you can hear us.
Okay,
we're asking if you believe that Nigerians are being targeted specifically. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you
asking,
now.
Why you think Nigerians will be targeted in a country that we did so much for?
Well, those are questions we need to find out. But I know that, like I said, there's a prison dedicated to Nigerians in South Africa, and it's important to actually get to the bottom of this. But yellow card or no yellow card, it is just an undertone for other matters that are probably, we need to deal with them once and for all. I cannot say this is the reason, but I know that based on complaints that we have received severally from Nigerians in South Africa, there are problems. You mentioned a point which I think I must stress. Yes, we have to fix our country. Let's face it. We have leadership issues in Nigeria that has to be tackled. We should find out why Nigerians are living in droves to the extent that you get insulted in countries that ideally should not even talk to you in the first place. We call ourselves the giant of Africa and we get treated this way. We need to fix our country. We need to provide infrastructure. We need to ensure protection of lives and property, basic amenities for Nigeria. It's an issue we have to tackle. It's a long-term issue, but it is an issue that we need to tackle. So I'm going to stress that from complaints we have received, yes, indeed, South Africa has been very, very hostile to Nigerians there. Whether you're visiting, whether you're a resident there, we have many, many cases of hostilities towards Nigerians in South Africa. I mean, if you commit a crime, like I said, you get punished for it. But you cannot just generalize and say, oh, because you're a Nigerian. And like I said earlier, I don't know whether you heard me, if Abike had not turned back, if Abike had not said we're cancelling our flights to South Africa, we probably would not have heard about this. They'll probably come back and go back again. And nobody will hear. So I have to commend Abike for taking that step and informing us all that this happened. Because if they hadn't done that, maybe we would not have known. Maybe it's just going to be business as usual. They will go back again and it would happen again and again. So I must commend Abike for taking that laudable step and letting us know that this happened.
What's your committee planning to do? Do you have any plan, any action you hope to take, or any decisions you hope to push forward considering this particular issue?
Well, like I said, the law of reciprocity. Do me, I do you. If you do this to us, we have to just reciprocate if it doesn't stop. I hope that I'm sure the Minister of Foreign Affairs and South African authorities will be meeting, because this is a very serious matter, and I hope that those issues will be thrashed out. But however, we have to insist that Nigeria should not be treated with indignation, which is what is happening in South Africa. Diplomacy or no diplomacy, we're treated with a whole lot of indignation. And then on our part, I know that as Nigerians, we must behave ourselves. We're ambassadors of our country wherever we may be, and we should obey laws of the land. But you cannot generalize and just treat us anyhow, especially, I stress, South Africa. We played a major role in ending apartheid in South Africa. But for Nigeria, who knows? So we have to put our feet down, we have to ensure justice is done, and we have to look at all the issues involved and hope that at the end of the day, we get justice, we get fairness, and we get what is right as a nation.
Well, speaking of which, there are some response coming through for some who are watching at the moment, because they're pointing out some things which perhaps we would think that including the Ministry of Trade and Investment should take a look at this kind of matters and not just allow companies to come into the country and do business, just waive a lot of things for them, because they say now in South Africa they charge more for the visa and reduce your tenure from 1 year to 6 months, and this is all about the economy. They're concerned about the economy, they're doing something about it, including this particular one, and we should take notice of this and kind of know what to do about this, don't you think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a very useful suggestion. The House, on its part, I'm sure will look at the matter. We have several committees, foreign affairs, aviation, diaspora. I'm sure we'll all get involved and look at this matter. So yes, I agree, and I think the man is saying what I've been stressing: reciprocate. Reciprocate. I mean, in India, for instance, and then, you know, we really must build confidence in ourselves as Nigerians. We are not who we're being painted to be, and we have to stress that. We have Nigerians doing great things all over the world. Even in South Africa, you find Nigerians who are excelling in South Africa in whatever endeavor they found themselves. There was an award for Nigerians in South Africa about 2 years ago, and, you know, you'll be proud to be a Nigerian. So we have to just stop all that labeling and accepting it. The problem is that we're accepting it. We are not. I will not accept it. In Nigeria, who commits a crime should be punished and deserves no mercy. But you can't do that to us. So I agree with that suggestion, you know, of the guy who said that what matters is that there has to be reciprocity. They're enjoying doing business in Nigeria. Look, in India, for instance, you can't... A foreigner cannot get a job when an Indian doesn't have the job. They will ensure that the Indians are employed first before they start taking you. But here, like somebody also said on your program, perhaps anything goes. Anything goes. You even have foreigners dominating the employment scene in some of the companies in Nigeria. We also have to be more stringent. How many people in Nigeria have proper documentation? What are we doing? If we decide to go after every foreigner and look at their papers, I can tell you there are many that will have to go. You know, so we need to do what is right as a nation, just do the right things as a nation, and make sure that we also get justice and fairness for our own people, wherever they may be. And if it's just justice for one person, would have gone a long way to show that no, we are Nigerians and we treat our people right.